Hey y'all, welcome back to episode 13 of the Wavy podcast. I am your host, Denny. And y'all, when I tell y'all, we have so much to get into today. I know I say that every episode, but this past week has just been crazy if you've been paying attention to what's been going on, like in the media, on like the hip hop side of things. It's just been so much. So we're going to get into all of that, which y'all know. First, we got to start with some new music, and then we're going to get into the tea of the week. So, before we get into the new music, I wanted to talk about Dreamville Fest and just kind of just talk a little bit about that. So basically, y'all, this past weekend it was Dreamville Fest, and if you don't know what Dreamville Fest is, Dreamville Fest basically is this huge festival that is in North Carolina every year, and it is spearheaded and everything by J. Cole. He like is the one that came up with this and decided to do this. So I think it used to be in his hometown, which is Fayetteville, but this year and maybe last year it was in Raleigh. And I did not go, obviously, because I didn't say I was going. But I did want to go a couple years ago when they had first started it, but like, it's just COVID happened, y'all. So like I didn't get to go. Like literally the year that I went to go, COVID happened because um yeah, like I told y'all before though, like my husband is a huge J. Cole fan. So he like loves J. Cole, and I was gonna surprise him and take him to Dream Fest, but COVID happened and they ended up canceling it that year. So I didn't go. But I saw that they were live streaming the whole festival on Amazon Prime and Twitch. And shout out to Amazon Prime because they've been doing a lot of stuff like their music department, Amazon Music. So I thought that was pretty dope. I think they did it last year, but I wasn't really checking for last year. But this year I was like, I want to see, and I really only mainly wanted to see some of J. Cole's performance and then Nicki's performance. So Nicki's performance was really good. If you haven't been like looking at the clips from her tour and just what she's been doing, y'all know that she does like a lot of outfit changes in her tour and just gives you the full experience. But she didn't do all of that this time around like she did at Rolling Loud. Cause I did see the live stream of Rolling Loud, her performance before it like cut out. So she oh, and nope, I actually watched the full thing on somebody's Instagram, I mean TikTok live. um, but yeah, so she just had her one outfit. She didn't like do a whole bunch of outfit changes, but she did, most of not most, she has a lot of hits, but she did a good bulk of her hits. So her performance was great to me. J. Cole's performance was really good also. His performance was long, so it was like 11 o'clock, and like we had stopped watching it. I had been stopped watching it, but my husband was up in there watching it, y'all. So it was really good, and we're gonna get into what he did during his performance and stuff. The tea part, but he did bring out a lot of people. He brought out Jeremiah. He brought out Lil Yachty. He brought out Benny the Butcher. So that was just dope of him to do. Like his whole performance was really really good. So those are the two performances I saw. I didn't really, it streamed like the whole time of the festival and stuff. So those are the ones I saw because I just watched it on that Sunday night. But it was really good. So if you guys watched the live stream or if you went to Dreamville Festival, how did you, how was your overall experience? How do you like it? I know some people are not like a huge fan of festivals, and a lot of people was there. It was like Nikki was late, and they was like the website said she was gonna be on at 8, but when I looked on there, the reason why I knew what time she was gonna be on, um, she it like I think the website said 8, but then their Instagram says she was gonna be there at 8:45, and I think she came out like 9 something. So yeah. But how did y'all like it if y'all went, if you looked at the live stream or whatever? So yeah, really enjoyed Nicki and J. Cole's performances. They're really good. All right, y'all. Now we're gonna get into some new music. So let's see. First, we have Glorilla, y'all. So she released her. It's not an album. I would say it's like a EP mixtape sort of deal, and it's called Everything Everything. Yeah, everything, everything. So I'm looking at it now. So It has 12 songs on it, and of course her song that she released a little bit ago, Yeah Glow, is on there. And she has a couple features. So she has Finesse Two Times, Boston Richie, Kevo Mooney, and then she has a song with Moneybag Yo and Meg the Stallion. So from, you know, this mixed EP, we're just gonna call it an EP. It's a little long, but her from her little her mixtape little EP, whatever one y'all know what I'm saying. The songs that stood, I guess, are supposed to be like her single is the one with Megan Thee Stallion, which is "Wannabe," and that's the one I was telling y'all about last episode where she sampled "Pretty Boy Swag" by Soldier Boy. So I've seen people with mixed reviews. Some people say like it, some people say don't. Um, it was just okay to me. Y'all know, like if y'all learn kind of like my music taste, and sometimes like the type of songs that I like, you be like you like that, but you don't like that. Like it's just like that for me. It's just kind of whatever I feel or whatever I like. It's just whatever. But it's not a bad song. Um, people were breaking up that they were not copying Sexy Red, but kind of that same way of like she sampled Soldier Boy in her song Get It Sexy. So I don't know y'all all that, but yes, and that song has a music video too, the Wannabe song with Meg the Stallion. So people have been liking it. Whatever. I have not really got to listen to the whole thing. It's been too much new music, y'all, and I just cannot get to everything. But I definitely listened to the one with her and Meg Thee Stallion, and of course I listened to Your Glove. I haven't listened to none of the other ones, so I will definitely get to it. But what do y'all feel about her mixtape slash EP, whatever you want to call it? I get so confused these days because like some people call it mixtape. It's not an album, but it's not an EP, but it's a mixtape, but it's like not a mixtape, and I don't know. Yeah, I'm used to like mixtapes like being on like. Do y'all remember like my mixtapes, like the app from back in the day where all that's where all the mixtapes was, so you'll know the difference between the mixtapes and some like the albums and stuff. But yeah, so yeah. Then let's see who we have next. We had Bryson Tiller, so he released his album called Bryson Tiller, as well. And we talked about Bryson Tiller a couple episodes ago because I told you I really liked Whatever She Wants, and I liked the other single that he released a couple weeks ago called Calypso. So I have not got to listen. I haven't gotten to listen to every song. It don't sound right. I haven't gotten to listen. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I haven't listened to every song, but I do have a few that I have listened to that I want to tell y'all about. And I think I mentioned that going to see Bryson Tiller actually in a concert in a couple months. So I had to make sure like I at least made sure I checked out a few of the songs, and I'm gonna get around to listening to all of it so I can be ready for the concert. So the first song of the album, so in total he has 19 songs, and then the Whatever She Wants is a bonus track. Um let's see. So the first song is called it's basically it's the HTTP like dot backslash thing. It's like the beginning of a website pretty much. Cause y'all know like if you haven't listened to his album or seen like his cover art or his whole rollout, it's kind of like a computer cyborg type of feel. I told y'all the other pod, like I didn't really 100% know what the theme was 100%, but I kind of think I understand a little bit more now. Um, so that's the first song, and it's just basically an instrumental, but it leads into the second song on the album, which is Attention, which I really that transition from the first song, like the instrumental, and to the first actual song on the album was pretty cool, and I really liked Attention. I also really liked RAM, which is Random Access Memory. Um I like that song. So this is still like the computer cyborg theme. I already told y'all I like Calypso, and of course, I like Whatever She Wants. And I did listen to the song with Victoria Monet. I like that song too. A lot of people were like really hyping that one up, like it was like the best one. And for me, that's not my favorite right now. but it is a good song. And I kind of skimmed through the rest of the songs just to, see. So I love the album honestly, and a lot of people are saying that it reminds them of old Bryson Tiller. So yeah, shout out to Bryson. Like I said, I'm excited to see him in a couple of months. So have y'all listened to Bryson Tiller's new album? What did y'all think about it? What are your favorite songs from it? I know it's been so much music going on, like it's just too much to listen to at one time. Cause I don't know about y'all. I'm trying though, cause I gotta give y'all these music takes, but it's so like so much at one time. But shout out to Bryson. I really liked the project. I did see a clip from an interview that he did, and he said that he was like going on a hiatus after this album and his tour to focus on like gaming um and building a video game. So I thought that was cool. But somebody people in the comments was like, "You going on another hiatus? What are you talking about? You've been on a hiatus." So we'll see, what he ends up doing. But yeah, I really like the album. So shout out to Bryson. So next we have Doja Cat. So she released her Scarlet Deluxe album, which I didn't listen to the first one. Um I am I'm not gonna sit here and lie, y'all. I'm not the hugest Doja Cat fan. I do like some of her songs though, but like her whole rollout for Scarlet, it kind of threw me off a bit, and I kind of just wasn't really into it. I liked her other stuff like before Scarlet, and some of her songs, some of her, her standout singles and stuff that she's done over the past, couple of years. But I don't know, that Scarlet era is just the Scarlet era is just I don't think it's just for me. But she did release a deluxe, and I like I said, I didn't even listen to the first one, so I can't give y'all my take. I just want to kind of mention it for all the the Doja Cat fans. But y'all can tell me like what is your favorite songs from Scarlet? Did you listen to Scarlet? How do you like Scarlet? All that good stuff. Because oh, that's just like my take on that. Like I said, I didn't really listen to the first one, so yeah. But shout out to Doja. All right, y'all. So the last thing I have on from new music is J. Cole. So y'all, he released his. I think he's calling this a mixtape too, like how Glows was, and it's called Might Delete Later. And let me find it. So it has 12 songs on there, and he has features from Young Dro and Gucci Mane, Ari Lennox, Central C, Bass, Daylight, Absol, uh yeah, that's about it. But the standout song on this album, of course, was 7 Minute Drill. And we're gonna get into all of that in a minute about, this song and the things that he said in this song, because I took some screenshots of the lyrics, y'all, because I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, so that was that. I really did not listen to anything else besides 7 Minute Drill, and I did start listening to a little bit of the song with Daylight and Ab Soul, but I really haven't really gotten to a full J Cole project. The full Draco project, me personally, sometimes y'all, I'm a mood person, and a lot of times like certain music I can't listen to when I'm in a certain mood or a certain frame of mind or just a certain era that I'm in at the moment. So I definitely will get around listening to some of it, and like I told y'all, my husband is a big J Cole fan, so I'm pretty sure I'll been and listen to the entire album here at some point. Oh, he had Cameron on the album too. I just saw that. So yeah, J. Cole is J. Cole. Like you don't really can't really critique. You can definitely critique him. But I'm saying like he's one of those artists, like he's up there for me to the point where it's like I don't think that he can release bad music, like a bad project, because I know that he takes the time to actually do stuff. So I would never sit up here and say like this is trash, this is whack, because I don't believe so. He's one of them. So I know the rest of the album sounds great and people love it, but right now the main focus is 7 Minute Drill, just because of all the controversy surrounding, the big three, him, Kendrick, and Drake. So we're gonna get into that in a minute. But have y'all checked out his mixtape slash EP? Whatever they classify it as. Um, so yeah, how do y'all feel about all of the new music that has released so far? How are y'all feeling? Glow's mixtape. How are y'all feeling? Bryson's album. How are y'all feeling? Doja's album. How are y'all feeling about J. Cole's album? So yeah, I do want to mention one more thing about the Glorilla and Meg song. I definitely can see it bleeding over into like summer, being like a summer anthem. I think there's a challenge going on right now actually with the song, like a twerking challenge, I think. So we'll see, but I definitely can see that being, you know, a summer song. I don't go to clubs and stuff like that, but if y'all do, let me know if y'all hear it in the clubs and stuff because yeah, it kind of gives that vibe. So we'll kind of see what that continues to do. But I'm here for all the new music that's being released. Honestly, like I said, a lot of people have been releasing. There's been a lot of music to consume in the last like month, so it's so much to catch up on, so much to actually listen to. So what have y'all chose to listen to? Have you listened to everything that's came out? Are you listening to select, people? Are you listening to select songs from people? How do y'all listen to your music? Because I can't sit and listen to a full body of work at one time, back to back. I can do a couple of songs I can listen to back to kind of get a feel of, the flow. I always listen to the first and second song on albums, but then I kind of just skip around. But yeah, that's all for new music. Now we're gonna get into the tea of it all, and I'm gonna try my best to explain this as much as I can. But I'm really just gonna kind of give my perspective on it. Um, Besides doing like a deep dive in, everything. So this past week, Twitter has been on fire. I mean, sorry, X. I'm from the Twitter era, so I'm gonna keep calling it Twitter. But Twitter/X has been on fire for the rap girlies, and I just don't know what's going on, y'all. It's the eclipse was yesterday. People been acting crazy. It's been so much like going on, and I'm just gonna kind of go through and kind of give my takes on just all the little you know disputes that have been going on this this week, just to kind of so y'all can see what I think a little bit. So the first one is Raymonte and Cardi B. So if you're not like big into TikTok, you might not know who Raymonte is. So basically, he is a popular TikToker, and he makes a lot of videos that are like really really funny. And he goes in the stores and just be talking to random people. Like his content is just really fun, and people really like him and gravitate towards him. I think he has like over 1 million followers on TikTok and everything. And he recently had a birthday trip with some other influencers and his friends. They went to, I think, Mexico, and like everybody, if you're really on TikTok and you into like just the different TikTokers, then you probably know what I'm talking about. So his birthday trip was like a big thing, and all the influencers on the trips were like, blogging and making TikToks from their perspective on things, and it was really cool to watch. And it was just like kind of a reality show. I definitely tuned into some parts, um, from different creators, and it was a little bit of drama with the on the trip, just like a smidget, but not really much. But it was overall, it was very entertaining. So this propelled, people to kind of start talking about Ramonte and him not having a lot of brand deals or, getting a lot of sponsorships. And I saw this TikTok, and this girl made a TikTok, and she just was talking, and she just basically was like, she kind of wonders why like there was nobody to sponsor Raymonte's birthday trip and all that good stuff. So her making that video also turned into Essence writing an article, and one of their writers was kind of like highlighting the trip and him not having the brand deals. And I don't really know word for word what the article said because it's down now. I know that whatever was in the article and how it was insinuating and how Ramonte perceived it, he wasn't too pleased. And he basically responded and gave, said his piece of the situation. So after he did that, I think he made a TikTok video, and he basically was talking about how people was telling him that he's too ghetto to have brand deals and all these other stuff. And this conversation turned into just it really snowballed into different kind of conversations on colorism and just all sorts of things. So as he's explaining his points, he throws Cardi B in it, and he didn't really throw her in it. He just mentioned her name. He used her as an example. Now, me personally, I I don't understand why people are so upset that he mentioned her in the example. And this is kind of the same situation when Nicki Minaj was talking about the Grammys and she mentioned Lotto in her song in the category, and like just that y'all know that whole debacle with if her song is moved and her song should move, all that good stuff. Now sometimes I do think it mentions somebody's name to a certain extent. If y'all got some sort of problem or something, maybe you shouldn't do that. But then again, you if that's the example you want to use, you can make your point using other people as an example. I think it's just I guess it's just about how way people perceive things. A lot of people perceive things so differently, so it's kind of hard to kind of gauge that because I mean, hey, if you think that using that person is helping make your point, then do it. Like some people do not care. Like some people like, okay, well, I'm gonna just use you because you're a great example. So that kind of for me is kind of 50-50 because I guess it just really just depends, but I don't really find anything 100% wrong with that. Seeing that you're using somebody as an example, and I think that he used Cardi B as a I think for what he was trying, I see what he was trying to say and the point that he was trying to make. And sometimes with the internet and stuff, people kind of can take what you say out of context sometimes and twist it and flip it and just, and then, whatever previous issues or communication or anything that you have with somebody, and people, perceive it different. Like Cardi B perceived this as a diss, in which a lot of people was like, Cardi B, what are you doing? Like, why is you even thinking it? Like, why is you even responding, first of all? So I can kind of see that one point from both sides. About mentioning somebody and then not. I definitely do agree with people when they said he could use somebody else. I do agree with that point to a certain extent. But like I said, I know what he was trying to say and what he mean. Like sometimes people don't know how to read between the lines or try to kind of use their common sense to understand what somebody's saying sometimes, and everybody just don't think like that or have that type of thought process. So I get it, but sometimes you have to kind of look deeper into these things and use little context clues and just kind of figure out, because a lot of times we talk about a lot of different stuff and we can't really express it the way we want to, and a lot of times stuff comes out the wrong way even if we don't intend it to be. So him mentioning her in his rant snowball into her going off at him. They're just going back and forth, talking about everything. And then she's trying to prove that she's black and saying that, her mom is Trinidadian and she came from a black woman and all this stuff. I'm not going to go into all that. Y'all can kind of go look at one of the T pages to kind of get the breakdown of everything. I personally use Mob Radio for my like personal like see what's going on, because she usually has like the tweets and stuff and everything. So y'all check out my radio. I like her. I'm watching her stuff. So you can you'll be able to find all the tweets in the back and forth. And then in the midst of this, Ice Spice gets into the conversation because I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Ramonte mentioned something about Ice Spice or Cardi B mentioned something about Ice Spice yet first. One of the two, but Ice Spice was mentioned, and I think Cardi mentioned Ice Spice first. 'Cause if I remember correctly, I remember reading a tweet where it was like she was just using, she was putting other Dominican women in the conversation, and was just like they don't do this to these women, and they're Dominican like her. And then Ramonte was like, "Why you bring Ice Spice into it?" Yada yada, and she was like, "Da, da, da." But then Ice Spice ended up responding and was like, um I think she was like, "Sorry, Barty. I think it's because I have a black parent. Like I have a black parent, and it just took a turn." And then Cardi tweeted her and was like, something. She's like, "Oh, and send me the picture that we took at the Vanity Fair party." And then Ice Spice posted it, and then it shook the internet because they was like, "How is you doing all this and you cool with Nicki?" But Ice Spice never said she wasn't cool with Cardi. I don't know. And then it was like Cardi was throwing shade at her Summer Jam performance. If y'all don't like recall, Cardi's Summer Jam performance, in the background, she had like a lady girl that was, it looked like it to me. It looked like Ice Spice. I ain't gonna hold you. And it was like that when she was doing Tomorrow too. It was like the Annie, and then it's yeah. So yeah. So that was the whole thing, and that shook the internet with the Ice Spice and Cardi situation because y'all know, Ice Spice is connected to Nicki because they did the collabs and all this stuff. So the Barbs don't play. So they was like, no, they was like, they already know she on some funny time. So I don't really know how this is going to impact her career as far as people getting the support from the Barbs. Which I'm not gonna lie to y'all, a lot of these girls, when they get the support, they do better. When they lose that support, it's a struggle because I've been telling y'all, like I told y'all in episodes prior, people do not your faves do not have as big of fan bases and true fan bases like they think they do, or like you might think they do. They really, really don't, and it shows when it comes time for album sales. It shows when it comes time for tours, and I feel like that needs to be a priority with the labels and just building artists. Like I feel like that's going to help you in the long run and for longevity. But some people are not in it for the long haul. Some people are in it for the quick. But if you're in it for the long haul, your fans is what's going to keep you afloat through it all. So yeah, that was one of the Twitter exchanges of the week. And then after a couple days after the Monte Cardi Ice Spice debacle, um, then we get into Glorilla and JT. So like I told y'all, Glorilla released her mixtape and she had a song on there. I forgot which one it was. And basically she in the lyrics she was just talking about like she wished Nicki and Cardi could do a song together, and then she was like, "Me and JT don't got no problems. We ain't the best of friends. We don't got no problems." And somehow somebody tweeted something, and I think JT responded or somebody responded, and she was like, she never slapped me because it was a rumor that Gorilla had slapped JT. I think during the BMAs. I don't really know what their situation was, but that kind of you know, made Glorilla respond after JT said something, and they just went back and forth calling each other ugly and everything, and that was just shocking. We was like, Lord, what's going on? So they kind of, did that, and some people was like, Glorilla just doing this to, help her album sales, and it's a lot. I was definitely not expecting that, because that was just not what I was expecting at all. I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. Um, but I'm kind of with JT to a certain extent because she basically was like, you saying we don't got no problems or nothing, but you mentioning me. But and people was like, it looks like Glorilla was itching for the opportunity to say something or argue with JT. So that whole thing is crazy. I don't know what's gonna come out of that one. They kind of didn't resolve that at all. And I forgot to mention with the Ramonte and Carter situation, they did resolve it. But then Cardi made a live video and she just was like going off and just talking about a whole bunch of stuff, and then Ray Monte responded, and nothing else was said. So, we'll see kind of what's going on with that. So like I said, with the Gorilla and Jay situation, it was really no I guess conclusion to it. So that was probably, TBA. No, not TBA. Not to be announced. It's continuous. We'll just kind of see what goes on there. Like, what is y'all's take on these two Twitter beefs so far? Like, we have about one more, to get into. What is y'all takes? Like, whose side are you on? Who do you agree with? I'm kind of a person that I definitely can see stuff from both people's sides in certain aspects of things, but I really just really like JT, and it seems like people are just coming for her this week. It's a lot because this next beef was definitely unexpected, but some people said it wasn't as unexpected as they thought. JT and Young Miami get into it on Twitter as well, and this also involves Saucy Santana and then Kim Barbie, y'all. So it's like so much on like JT and my was like go back and forth, and it was kind of like nice nasty going back and forth. Like it wasn't really like a like cussing arguing like we ready to fight type of argument. It was kind of like a how you argue with your friends when y'all friends, and you just like don't play with me, like don't play with me, or be like don't, or like what you talking about, like stuff like that. So it really didn't get ugly, and they came to some sort of conclusion to a certain extent. If you go read the tweets, and young man was like, "I'm not arguing with you. I'm over it. I love you." And then JT was like, "I love you the most," and that was that. People definitely are saying the City Girls is over, and at first I was like, I don't know, but I definitely believe that now. I just think that they're in two different spaces, two different eras, just two different processes, and just two different everything right now. So I don't even think that them being together right now is what's best for them, and they just need to, let it go. But y'all can. I'm not. Like I told you, I'm not gonna get into all the details about everything in every tweet. But y'all can go look at the tweets because JT said something about not something bad really about Saucy, and then Saucy responded, and Kim Barbie responded. It was just so much. If you into Stan Twitter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, so it's just like it's like JT is getting, you know, just ooh, I don't know. Um, so yeah, what do y'all think about that, y'all? It's so much Twitter beef, Twitter fingers, Twitter everything. It's crazy, and I usually don't talk about a lot of tea on my podcast because that's not kind of what I want my platform to be surrounded by. But sometimes stuff is just too good to not talk about because all these Twitter back and forths is crazy, and all these happen in a matter of days of each other. Like it's been a crazy week, been a great music week, but it's been a crazy week. And this next thing I'm gonna get into is definitely crazy. So, like I mentioned before, J. Cole released his mixtape, Might Delete Later. And on the mixtape was the song 7 Minute Drill. As y'all know, Drake and well, I'll say it like this. Kendrick was on Future and Metro's album, and their song Like That, which has been number one for like two or 3 weeks, basically since it came out. And Kendrick basically, dissed in a sense Drake and J. Cole. But y'all, my full kind of like breakdown of that is on the last podcast. I kind of like what I think. Just kind of reiterating my points from last week. I personally think that the shots were mainly for Drake, and J. Cole kind of caught strays because he's next to Drake right now. Like he's, they've been on tour, they've been doing songs and stuff. So I always thought this wasn't about J. Cole, and I was not surprised, but like a little taken aback when he actually responded. Um, in a sense, and I was like, I don't think this is for you, for real, for real. I think this is for Drake. And I was like, I told y'all, I thought maybe, the person that J. Cole is and how he's just been his whole entire career and the way that he presents himself to people, like he really not the person to be in beefs for real, and he not into all of that. So I'm thinking, oh, like he could have called, like J. Cole strikes me the type to call Kendrick and be like what's up? Like what's going on? So I don't really know. And some people's like they've been dissing each other kind of for a while. I don't know all of that, but I think that the main target of this whole thing, especially with this Metro and featuring is Drake. Like I told you, I don't know what Drake did, but him falling out with people that he's been super close to for years, like his peers, has it's been crazy, and people are definitely picking sides. So I don't want to hear nothing about people talking about the women rapping and people picking sides because the men do the same thing. They might do it differently, but do the same thing because people are definitely picking sides. So let's just keep that in mind. Um. So yeah. So he released 7 Minute Drill, and I did listen to it. I actually listened to clips of it on TikTok before I even listened to the whole song. And I'm gonna get my thoughts on what I think and the things that he said, but I'm also going to kind of, let y'all know when I was planning on filming this episode today, I had no idea at Dream Fest that he was going to basically apologize to Kendrick and basically kind of back off the beef, sort of say. And I told y'all we watched the live stream, but I told y'all it was like 11 something, so we retired, so we just cut it off. But I kid you not, I believe as soon as we cut it off, like this is when the viral moment went around him apologizing to Kendrick. But I'm gonna give my take on the song first, and then I'll talk about his apology to Kendrick, and then I'll talk more if I think Kendrick will respond. So basically, in the song, he's kind of obviously, he's taking dates at Kendrick, obviously. So these are a couple of lines from his song that I would like to point out, and then I'll talk about them as a collective after I say them. So one of the lines says he's still doing shows but fell off like The Simpsons. Okay. Then another line, he says, now I'm front of the line with a comfortable lead. How ironic. Soon as I got it, now he wants something with me. And then he says, well, he caught me at the perfect time. Jump up and see. Boy, I got here off of bars, not no controversy. Then he says he averaging one hard verse like 30 months or something. Every 30 months or something. If he wasn't dissing, then he wouldn't be just we wouldn't be discussing him. Then I'm kind of skipping around here. Some of this. Um, then he says, "F the Grammys, cause them crackers ain't never done nothing for me." Um, yeah, and then back to when he said he's still doing shows, but he fell off like The Simpsons. Then he goes into saying talking about his album. So he was like, his first one was classic. His last one was tragic. His second one would put him to sleep, but they gassed it. This third one was massive, and that was his prime. So those are just kind of some of the lyrics that I kind of screenshotted, just pointed out of what he said throughout the song. So for me, and I literally had the same take before he even apologized to Kendrick. For me, one thing that Kendrick does really, really well that I think is what sets him apart from Drake and J. Cole. I think one is just geographically, like being from the West Coast. Like all of them sound different and they have their own sound. Like J. Cole's from the South, he's from North Carolina. Kendrick is from the West, and Drake is from literally a whole different country. He's from Canada. So they all sound different, but Kendrick's delivery is just amazing. And it's like the energy is always there. And that's one of the things that I really like about Kendrick, the delivery and just the things that he says, and this is how he says the things. It's like how he says it, how he delivers is what really, I think, propels him and puts him over. Of course, he's awesome and amazing, but it's his delivery. So when it comes to J. Cole responding, I knew that he was gonna respond the way that he responded. He did it in a very J. Cole way, which I wouldn't want him to do anything else but he himself. But I definitely was looking for more. And some people will go with, like, he didn't want to give all of it at first, and he just did this, and we don't really know, 100% on that. But there definitely was mixed reviews on this because some people felt like it was amazing, it was great, it was awesome. Some people felt like he should have came harder, like he should have, and also too, like Kendrick did. It's not Kendrick's song that he dissed him on, really. And people have something to say about that. They was like, "Well, Kendrick should have dissed him and Drake on like his own song." And I'm just like, I get where you're coming from with that take and perspective. And J. Cole had a whole song dedicated to Kendrick, so I can see that. But what I think Kendrick's verse was maybe like a minute, not even, and that kind of ruffled some, like in that short amount of time, ruffled some feathers. But it was so, like, it's memorable. People quoting it. I keep seeing the sound on TikTok, and it's like, of course, I knew J. Cole was going to go the route that he went, but I definitely expected him to go a little bit harder. And that's just my take. Like I told y'all, J. Cole, when it comes to J. Cole and Kendrick and Drake, to me, they're so great in who they are, and they're so different, and they're so talented, and they put in enough work, and I like them. particularly for different reasons, and I like their artistries, that I would never sit here and be like, oh, that's just so whack. It's so no, because they is not whack people. They come on now, it's them. You know what I'm saying? So the song itself was okay. Lyrically, okay, you did good. Like, of course he's gonna do good. My problem was, why is you talking about Kendrick like he is nothing? Like he is just like some scum. Like he ain't really Kendrick for real. Like this is Kendrick Lamar we're talking about here. And yes, could my take be a little bit biased? Yes, I think everybody has biases. So that's just kind of, even if you, because I always say it all the time, I'm trying not to be biased, and I really don't try to be biased. But sometimes in certain instances, everybody has a bias, and I definitely, because Kendrick is one of my favorite artists, and I would put him over J Cole and Kendrick any day. I mean J Cole and Drake any day. I have to kind of just, you know, just take that. But I'm what I'm saying is true, though, for real. Like, okay, like it is. Like I didn't like the fact that he was talking about him like he was nothing. Like now, if he was talking about something, anybody else, really, anybody else, I'd be like, okay, yeah. But it's Kendrick was talking about here. Like it didn't even sound believable to me. It did not feel like, to me, it didn't feel like he really felt like that. I feel like he was just saying some stuff. He might have been upset because of the whole situation, which I told you, I do not think it was directed at J. Cole. I think this was a whole Drake thing, and J. Cole was just catching strays anyway. So I was not surprised, like I said, that he responded, but I definitely was not, I don't know what I was expecting. But it's just, so I just feel like the stuff isn't believable what he was saying, because I don't really feel like he feels that way, because between all of them, I feel like I mean not Drake, Kendrick and J. Cole have actually a relationship, or had a relationship. So like they've been spotted out together. They have more pictures than Drake has with Kendrick. So I don't really know. And I know sometimes the emotions can get the best of you, and you just kind of, the pressures around you sometimes. So you just feel like you gotta say something. But definitely didn't feel it believable. Like, why is you talking about he fell off is crazy? Kendrick did not fall off. I be telling people all the time, if Kendrick released as much music as J. Cole and Drake did, conversations about him to a certain extent would definitely be different. But he doesn't release as much as they do. So he's not gonna be, I guess, I'm not even. It's not. He's not relevant. He's not gonna be. Everybody still talks about Kendrick, and he don't even be releasing music as much as everybody else does. You know what I'm saying? Or be outside really as much as everybody else does. He lives his quiet life doing him. I think he. I don't know if he's still there, but he definitely lived in Africa, or was living in Africa for a bit. So irrelevant is crazy, because he's not, and he did not fall off at all. People are still talking about him today. People still put him in conversations today. He just does not release as much music as everybody else. The only difference. That's the only difference. And then he was talking about, his albums and stuff. And I know some people like some of Kendrick's later albums, people really didn't like, which is, music is always subjective anyway. So cool. But we just not gonna act like it's not Kendrick. Like the same with J. Cole. Like some people don't like some of J. Cole's projects that he's released. So it's like, but it's J. Cole. It's still good. You might just not like that particular project. So that's the only problem I really had, because I'm like, boy, like, J. Cole, wait a minute, I don't, you can't believe that. You can't believe that. And then he was like, he didn't get here for controversy. Now I did hear a take on that, and it was just basically like when Kendrick got snubbed for the Grammy by Malcolm Moore when he won that year, that killed his career, and I just really just don't think that's true. I don't like that take. I can definitely see where people would assume that take. Um, but Kendrick was always Kendrick, and he was always gonna be Kendrick, no matter if that particular thing happened. So yeah, and I guess people would say, like, when he did like the control verse and some of the other stuff that he does, I definitely think that Kendrick does things for shock value, and it works every single time. Just like this song, like that, he came out of nowhere. He ain't released nothing. He just came out of nowhere. Like, what? And another thing too, y'all know, you can tell that this is a recent thing, because that first person shooter song didn't come out until what, last year. So this was a recent thing. So this is not something that they had in the boat. So it's shock value. That's what he does. And I feel like because Kendrick did this verse, I feel like two things. I feel like he really want to be for real. Like he really wants somebody to say something, Drake, somebody to say something, or he's ready to come out with some new music, which I hope is some new music. Praying to see music. Um, so what do y'all think about this song as a whole? What do y'all think about some of the stuff that he said? Do you think it was believable and all that? Well, we can talk about it, but low key, all of this doesn't even matter anymore because J. Cole apologized to Kendrick. So like I told y'all on Dreamville Fest, he apologized to Kendrick and he basically just was saying this is basically it's out of his character. He doesn't really, like that he did it, and he said he's taking the song off of all streaming platforms. It's still on Apple Music. I don't know if it's been taken down at all anywhere, but it's still there. Um, and he basically was just like, this isn't him, and he respects Kendrick, and he was like, he asked the crowd, y'all know Kendrick, or y'all think Kendrick is like the best, like one of the best rappers, and y'all like Kendrick's music and albums, all that good stuff. So I think that was really admirable of him to do because it takes a heck of a person to do that after you done diss somebody and then you go up there and apologize. Because in the rap world, it's taken like he's lost and Kendrick is just on top and he won. But some people are looking at it from like a personal level and they was like, that's a grown man, that's growth. And I definitely can see it from both sides. Like on the hip hop level, you do like, come on, dude, like why is you apologizing? Like, no. No, and then people was putting out that Nicki line that she had in that song. I think is it "Want Some More?" And she was like, "Why?" I don't. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She was like, "How you gonna let somebody diss you and you apologize?" So people was bringing that into it, but then like the grown person perspective is like that's growth. Like that's a lot that it takes. A heck of a person. Like people on their spiritual journeys, their just stuff. So I respect J Cole for that. Honestly, it only make me think less of him in a sense. Um Honestly, because I just felt like it's not really towards him. It's really the smoke is really for Drake. And J. Cole is not that type of person to be beefing people in rap battle. Like he's not even on that type of time. He's not on that type of vibration. Like that's not the type of person he is. He's never been in any controversy. He's never been in any mess. So for him to kind of step into this, I knew it had to be a judgment thing. And it's crazy because the song came out on Friday. He said it's a Dreamville Fest on Sunday. So he had must have felt it. And some people say like, when he does Dream for Fest, he was just looking at the crowd and looking at how many people were singing his songs and just feeling that, being filled up with just so much emotion because you put on this big event. All these people are out here for you. They're singing your songs and like you worry about some petty stuff when you should be focused on your art and your artistry. And for him and the person that he is and his just who he is, I think that's the best for him. Like I said, I don't look at him any different, but definitely from a hip hop perspective, like the the sport of it, you like, come on, Nicole. Like for real, you can't apologize. So now people are saying Kendrick is in the lead. He's first. We're gonna see if Drake responds, and I wonder if Kendrick and J Cole have talked at any point since J Cole apologized, and if Kendrick is gonna still diss J Cole no matter what. Is Drake gonna respond? We really don't know, honestly. I'm gonna sit back and like just get my popcorn ready and see what's gonna happen. And Future and Metro released that they were putting out their album. I think literally this week it's coming out. It's called "We Still Don't Trust You." So we're gonna see what that has. So I'm pretty sure this whole Drake versus everybody thing is still gonna be prevalent for a while. Until somebody start responding and putting out some music. I hope Kendrick is got some new music coming. I really do. I really hope he does. And we'll see what Drake says if he's gonna respond at all. So we'll see. So the last thing I want to talk about before we end this episode is kind of the state of hip hop this year and what I feel. Y'all know we talked about it at the beginning of the year how, hip hop has been down like what 40% or 60 some percent last year. And I was like, I really hope people kind of are releasing more and kind of, getting this thing back rolling because last year was just really lackluster when it came to music. But this year, it has been on fire. I'm really like so proud and just so happy that, we've been getting all this new music. And I mean, the beef come with it. So it's a part of it. I just like all of it. The beefs, all the new music. It's only April and we gotten so much new music, so many tour announcements, so many people going back and forth, people calling each other out. Like I love it. Like the sport of it definitely is it's definitely different than it used to be back in the day for sure. But times evolve, times change, and things change. So I'm really excited. Honestly, this year's been going really good musically. So I want to see kind of what happens, you know, next. It's so much things that we have like shelved and tabled because we don't know. We don't know about Carisha and JT. We don't know about Drake, Kendrick, Jake. We kind of know where J. Cole stands, but you never know. We don't know. I just don't know. The Nicki and Meg thing still is kind of a thing, like so we don't really know. But I'm really excited, about all the new music. I'm here for the music, y'all. The tea and the beef is just secondary, and it's definitely entertaining. It's definitely a part of it all, but really, it all boils down to the music. And y'all know I tell you this all the time. I love artistry and true artists and true musicians, people that really take their craft seriously. So that's all I have for this episode, y'all. Like I told y'all before, I'm gonna be doing audio episodes only for a little bit. So once we get back to visual episodes, will be better. I'm having a coming up with more of like a episode flow, whatever. But yeah, stay tuned for all of that. But be sure you are subscribed or following the podcast on your preferred podcast platform. If you want to see the visuals for episodes 1 through 10, plus 2 bonus episodes, you can head over to my YouTube channel, Danny Price TV. As over there, you can also find some other nice, cool musical content that you probably more than likely will enjoy over there on that page. Yeah, that is it for episode 13, y'all. We are clunking out these episodes, y'all. I've been so consistent. So that's all I got, y'all. And yeah, I will talk to y'all next week.